Oh, did it do it? It did. Great.
Yes.
Okay. I'll let you guys go ahead and start us off.
Okay.
Do we think
Welcome,
we need
everyone.
introductions?
Yeah, I got you. I'll take care of the welcome. Welcome, everyone. Do we need to do introductions really quick, or we go to just small group? Everybody know everybody? Waymond, I think you're the only one I don't know. I know you're driving, but who are you with? What group are you with?
I'm
I'm with
not
the
sure.
Boys and Girls Club of Greater Kansas City.
Fantastic. That's awesome. We're so glad you could be here today with us. Thank you. All right,
No
so
worries. I'm glad to be here as well.
yeah. So, and we'll go around and do introductions so that way you know who we are as well. So I'm Allison Smith. I'm one of the co-sector leads for the Park and Rec sector, and I'm with Johnson County Park and Recreation. I will popcorn to Robin.
Hey everybody, Robin Shook, Children's Mercy, Director of the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative. And I'll popcorn it to Jen.
I am Jen Jett. I'm the Superintendent of Community Services for Kansas City, Missouri Parks and Recreation. And I will popcorn it to Tatum.
I'm Tatum Bartels, sports coordinator for youth and adult sports and fitness programs in Bonner Springs.
You're gonna
And
popcorn.
I'll popcorn to Katie. Sorry, Katie.
Oh, no, you're fine. I know Waymond. So, hi, Waymond. It's Katie. I'm with the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative, and I help to support our Parks and Rec sector for the KCPA plan. So,
It's a pleasure meeting you all. I'm excited about being a part of the team.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and review. So for the agenda, we're going to review the strategies based off the red cap results that we got. And then other updates, we'll share those right after that. And then if anyone has any group updates that they want to share around the end, we can do that. And then we can talk about when our next meeting is as well. Katie, you want to go to the next slide for us?
okay.
Minty
So we're
Minty.
gonna, yeah, we're
I
gonna
was
start
gonna-
this. Oh, go ahead,
Who's
Jen.
running the meeting? Are you going to go, Katie? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take over from here. And then I'll have you guys help facilitate when we get to the Canva whiteboard to help with the results and stuff for the Red Cap survey. But to start off, Wayman, this might be harder for you because you're driving, but we're going to rank the national physical activity plan strategies for the park sector. So if you have a smart device, just pull out your phone and scan the QR code, or if I can pull up the chat, I can post a link in the chat as well.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, is there a way I can get a copy of this? So,
Yeah, and you can also fill it out later. I have it as a survey or on survey mode, so you can I think it's got like it expires in 7 days or so, so you've got time to fill it out after this meeting. Okay. I should probably pull up my phone too. Did everyone have the opportunity to look? Great. Thanks, Alice, and the thumbs up. Okay. So this one just as a reminder of what a strategy is. It represents a set of choices used to achieve an overall objective. They're useful in defining long-term objectives and in planning for how to meet those goals. So this survey is just, like I said, asking you to prioritize the national plan. Hey, Robin, you have a question?
I have one comment after you
Yes.
finish your instructions. Are you done?
No, go. Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, my one comment is as like the 50,000 foot person here. I'll just note that the name of the National Physical Activity Plan sector is not Parks and Recreation. It is, as Katie has appropriately noted here, community recreation, fitness, and parks. And there was, a decision made 4 years ago or so when this sector was launched to focus specifically on parks and recreation. And that's because we had a lot of parks and recreation people involved at that time. Over the years, I've had community recreation providers, people not Wayman, but people like Wayman, representing organizations like Wayman's organizations or other organizations that are more community recreation or even for-profit fitness centers said, hey, I would love to be involved, but I don't see where I fit. So that's just one thing that I wanted to note at the top as this group goes through the next few slides, is to think about whether it makes sense to just focus on parks and recreation or whether, it should be expanded out a little bit. And there's no right or wrong answer, but sometimes I just wanted to make sure that people had that on their mind. So my comment is complete.
Thanks, Robin. I appreciate you jumping in and kind of explaining that, especially for those who weren't able to attend our last meeting. I know we went over it then, so thank you for that. Okay, on that note, please start ranking the strategies based off of how they, on their ability to improve rates of physical activity in Kansas City. So these are the national plan strategies. And I hope everyone can kind of see either on their phones or on my screen what these strategies are. Would it be helpful for me to read them off?
I
For
think
anyone?
so. They're kind of small to see.
Okay.
On our screens.
So, a little tongue-tied and dry mouth today. Give me 1 second.
I'll start with strategy 1 if you want.
Yeah, if you want to.
All right, strategy 1. Communities should develop new and enhance existing community recreation, fitness, and park programs that provide and promote healthy physical activity opportunities for diverse users across the lifespan. Strategy 2. Communities should improve availability of and access to safe, clean, and affordable community recreation, fitness, and park facilities to support physical activity for all residents. Strategy 3. Community recreation and park organizations, the fitness industry, and private business should recruit, train, and retain a diverse group of leaders, staff, and volunteers to promote, organize, lead, and advocate for initiatives that encourage physical activity in their communities. Strategy 4. Community recreation and park organizations, the fitness industry, and private business should advocate for increased and sustainable funding and resources to create new or enhance existing physical activity facilities and services in areas of high need. And then I might need a little bit of help at the end of this one because it's kind of cut off on my screen, but I'm going to go for it. Strategy 5, community recreation and park organizations and for and not-for-profit fitness industry should improve monitoring and evaluation of participation in community-based physical activity programs to gauge their effectiveness in promoting increased, I'm going to guess, physical activity. Is that what it's supposed
Levels,
to be?
yeah. Increased levels of physical activity for all.
Okay, great. So those are the 5 strategies, and we are going to rank them on the Mentimeter now.
And I guess some important context to this is, what are we ranking them for?
So as of right now, it's on their ability to improve rates of physical activity in Kansas City.
Gotcha. Are there additional questions ranking them for other things?
Not after this, no. So, the red cap form that was sent out like about a month ago or so, asks specific questions related to these strategies. So, actually ranking them was on that red cap form, but only 4 people filled it out. So this will kind of go into our results for the red cap form. I hope that makes sense. And then what we're going to do after this is the questions that were asked on the red cap form, such as like, can this be implemented in the next 3 years? Does this make sense for Kansas City? Those questions, we're going to review the results of those who have filled it out, and then also have the opportunity to put our input in as well. And so it'll dive into these specific strategies a little more in depth. I hope that makes sense. Okay, well, I hope everyone had the opportunity to go ahead and put in their opinions and rank the strategies. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment so I can pull up the Canva document. I'm hoping this works. So Canva is new to me with their whiteboard. So we're going to be working in that today. It should be accessible to everyone. So while I pull this up, I'm also going to drop a link in the chat to access that Canva whiteboard. If you all would use this link and let me know if you have any issues.
All right. It did pull up, but it looks very small. And I don't know if that's just my screen. Is there a way to make it bigger?
Yeah, you'll have to use the zoom in option, and I can go through how to do that in just a moment.
This is very fancy.
Took a lot of time.
Mine just keeps opening another like Zoom page. I don't know why. It like wants me to join the Zoom meeting again.
It might be because it's trying to pull it up in like just a new tab, and that's what mine did.
So enter your name in. Did you do that?
No. It
No.
did try pulling up a new Zoom, but it basically just pulled up a new tab next to the Zoom one. Did you right click and hit open a new window?
Yeah. It just keeps literally making me join. It says enter your name, which is weird. Let me see if I can.
It's probably gonna have you enter a name so that way they know who you are. Like I'm in here as Shark instead of something else. And Robin is in as Robin, Jen's in as Jen, and Katie's in as Katie. But I kind of want to say Shark because that sounds cool.
Yeah, I think that's the nice feature of the whiteboard is it shows you who's making moves. So we need to track you, Tatum.
So I apologize if you guys can give me just one more minute. I was trying to download the results that we just did because I need to include that into our Canva document.
Okay. Tatum, did you get it to work?
No. And it kicked me out because I put my name in. So it like put me in as in the meeting twice. So I don't have the link anymore, unfortunately.
Can you use the chat? Oh, you don't have chat. Here, I'll copy
Yeah,
it in the
Okay.
chat again. Here you
Thank
go.
you.
There, that's from
Right.
Katie, courtesy of Katie.
Yeah, I don't know what it's doing.
Who We can share the screen, can't we, Katie? That way she can see it.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah, no worries.
Tatum, if you got
I
feedback, type it in the chat box and Jen and I can go copy and paste and just put T-Dog on there.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm about to just give up on what I was trying to accomplish. Actually, let's do it this way. And please note, yeah, everything does look very small. So you might have to adjust when you start typing your font sizes. Okay, I think I've got everything ready finally. Okay. So as you can see and probably on your screen, everything does look small. So if you notice at the bottom of your screen, there is an option to zoom in. Okay. So once I'll give everybody just a moment to kind of adjust their own screens. Okay. So the information at the top of this is just as like kind of a reminder of what our current tactics are for the KCPA plan. They're on the left side, and what the national strategy plans are. I just wanted this to kind of provide a little more information. Do we want to go over this, our current strategies, or is everyone kind of like already aware of what those are? I see a thumbs up from Jen Tatum. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, and feel free to play around. If you haven't used a whiteboard before, there's some like cheat features so you can draw. There's sticky notes. So if you hit S, you'll notice that a sticky note will appear. I kind of already laid some out for the questions that we'll be using this for, but just so everyone is aware, if you need additional sticky notes to kind of write in your feedback, just hit S, and there's no other button. It's just S. Okay. I'll give everyone some time to kind of just like play around with that for a moment. Actually, while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and refresh in everyone's memory on what a strategy and a tactic is. So essentially, what we're doing today is we're reviewing the results of a REDCap survey that was related to the National Physical Activity Plan, Community Recreation, Fitness, and Parks sector. And below, for each of these questions, you will find not just the strategies, but the tactics as well. So I know we've already reviewed what a strategy is, but again, just as a refresher, it's a set of choices used to achieve an overall objective. They're useful in defining long-term objectives and in planning how to meet those goals. So a tactic, it represents the specific actions used when applying a strategic choice. Tactics are more concrete than strategies and generally include actionable steps in a shorter timeline. So when answering and going through these questions, I want everyone to kind of reflect on your own experiences and expertise to determine what strategies you think are best to be used for improving rates of physical activity in Kansas City. Are there any questions? Actually, I actually do have a question. For starters, did anyone who is in attendance today fill out the REDCap survey? You did, Robin? Awesome. So you may not need to participate that much. I'm glad to hear it. Okay.
I think I did as well. You sent that out before last meeting, right?
Yeah, I thought you did, Tatum. I thought you filled it out prior to August meeting. So
Yes.
awesome. Well then, this will probably be easier for both of you. So strategy 1, we're going to talk about that first. And the first question related to that is how likely is it to be implemented? So strategy 1 is communities should develop new and enhance existing community recreation, fitness, and park programs that provide and promote healthy physical activity opportunities for diverse users across the lifespan. I'm not going to read all the tactics. I hope you guys can zoom in and read this yourself, but they're there to provide a little, again, more understanding of what strategy 1 is. So based off of the REDCap results, we only had 4 people fill it out, so that's not a lot of information. It looks like the majority do think that this could be implemented, but for those who weren't able to fill out the, Robin, you have a question?
Just when you get done doing your.
Okay. For those who weren't able to fill it out, I have provided some circles. I know this is probably a little harder than a Likert scale, which was how this question was done, but you can go ahead and put your feedback for how likely you think it is to be implemented. Robin, I'll let you go ahead and jump in.
Cool. I just had a clarifying question that is mostly for Jen, but might be for the other Parks and Rec people as well. I've seen several times recently, and other people have also seen and asked me about it. Data on KCMO Parks and Rec funding per resident values. The value that I saw was, let me pull it up so I get it right. $130 spent per resident in KCMO. Just as some context, the average of 100 cities in the US is 120. So this would be KCMO is spending slightly more per resident. Do you guys ever use that value for anything? Or is that something that as you guys are planning is oh, we need to try to get more funding per resident or anything like that?
Okay, so to be very transparent, that's the first time I've heard that number. I'm guessing it came from our maybe our KCMO website. Is that on our dashboard report out? Is that where that was from?
I don't know exactly. It was from it's called the American Fitness Index is what it's called, but they rank I don't know how many cities, more than 100 on a variety of things, one of them being Parks and Rec expenditures. Where they got that data, I don't know.
I'm guessing they just had because we're tax funded, it's, they can pull that information and compare it against our residency or how many residents we have. So to answer the question, and you might already know the answer because I didn't know where the number came from. We do not use that number very often. We typically focus on our cost recovery pyramid, community input, to decide on what programs are needed, our own expertise, that type of thing. I'm sure we use that number to compare across the nation, but we don't use that specific number regularly.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I was as I was thinking about this stuff, and some of these questions have to do with increasing funding or allocation of funding. And I was just kind of curious as how that happens, right? How are we doing? Are we good? Are we bad? Are we below average, above average? So I was just curious
Yeah, I think that's a good way to gauge how much money is being spent. Like I like the per resident aspect of it. Um, but I think the number is also related to the park system, and to kind of explain that more, our, even though, I think you said 100, was it $130 per resident ish, give or take a couple
Yeah.
dollars. I don't think it takes into account the nature of how the parks department is made up. So like, for example, ours spans quite a geographical distance with like 14,000 acres, 221 parks. So I think that number alone doesn't really speak to all of the amenities that might be available that are also being maintained by that amount of funding. So I could see why maybe that number doesn't line up. We'd really need to dig down into, and we have in our system with our master planning over the past 2 years, is comparing ourselves to like communities, or like cities, that have similar park system makeups and residents, and that's really hard to find too. I don't know if I would trust that number completely alone without, taking everything else into context. But I think it's a good way to kind of at least place us comparatively to other cities or other regions.
And would it be correct that that probably includes all the boulevards in town,
Yeah, so that's
depending on those
for
boulevards?
Casey Mo, the park system does maintain a lot of streets. So all of the parkways and boulevards, Ward Parkway, Southwest Boulevard, the Paseo, even parts of Bruce R. Watkins Parkway, which is a highway. We have partnerships to mow. So it depends on the nature of the makeup of that Parks Association, and with the plan of a city within a park with Kansas City. When you said 130, that actually seems kind of underfunded, in my opinion, just knowing what we have to maintain and what the park system actually has within it.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to like hog the conversation. I'll put the link to that in there. And it's very interesting because in addition to park expenditures, they also have ball diamonds per 10,000 residents, basketball hoops, playgrounds, recreation centers, swimming pools, tennis courts, all that stuff. Yeah. And like we're better than the average for ball diamonds per 10,000 residents, below average for some of the other things. So, and I don't really have any perspective on the numbers. So, interesting. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right. Katie, what are we doing with the whiteboard? Are we putting our responses in still?
Yeah, I wasn't sure how far people got, so I was just going to go ahead and scroll down. So, the second question is, do you think this can be implemented within the next 3 years? And so you'll just take another dot and you can either put it on the yes line or the no line. And then after that, how likely is this to improve physical activity and health? So I'll give everyone just like another moment for that, because the question after that is kind of sharing some thoughts related, if there's any additional thoughts to this strategy, and we'll have an open discussion. Trying not to make everyone sick by zooming in and out too frequently. Okay. Do we want to go ahead and start talking about this? Allison. Okay. So just some feedback from surveys and anybody else who's been typing. I think the first one is I think a lot of communities and all forms of private, non-for-profit, and Parks and Rec, etc., already do this. Most places partner with schools for before and after programs, local businesses, senior centers, etc., to promote and expand offerings and programs to all diverse groups. Another comment was how and who will be gathering, evaluating, and disseminating this information. Most departments do not have adequate staffing levels to do all they need to accomplish as is, let alone adding additional tasks. Without a dedicated person, people to lead this, it will be difficult to get these programs implemented across the metro consistently. And then the last one is a lot of agencies are already doing this to help determine master plans. Programs are determined based on community survey feedback.
How do we write a sticky note? I can't put any text in.
You should just be able to just double click on it.
Oh, okay. Double click. Okay, thanks.
And I don't know what's up with these blue lines. I can't erase them, so I hope everyone can read past that.
And I just added on to the sticky note that I typed in, not just survey feedback, but with our end of year reports and totals on what we're seeing, what programs are trending and what's not.
But kind of based off of, so yeah, what comments have been included. Does anybody have anything to add or thoughts? Are they right? So there's two that says this is being done, and there's one that's saying that this could be difficult to accomplish due to low staffing. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it depends on the agency,
Mhm.
and also the staffing. So sorry, Jen. I know our coordinators, like the way I determine programs is based off of surveys and like data from our epidemiologists at the health department on, oh, this is what we need, and then I'll pass it along to our programmers group. And so then that way we know what programs to come up with, and then we look at, oh, yoga went well this week. It went great this year. We need to add another yoga class. There's a wait list. So just trying to fill the supply and demand on the coordinator side, but we kind of do that at the ground level surface. We also have our community surveys that are also being sent out and then shared with us as well to help determine what programs we're going to do. And then also our marketing team and admin team do this to help determine future master plans. But on the other side, smaller agencies don't have the time to do that. They're in survival mode. They are running from doing one program, going directly over to the next program and to the next, and they're just doing what they're told. And maybe they'll get feedback, oh, we're not gonna do Tai Chi anymore, this is not cool, we're gonna add in actual karate or something. So they don't get to take a hard look at the data and some of that. That's probably the other hard part for some agencies and some other smaller departments as well. That's my thoughts on that one. Tatum, I know you guys are a smaller agency. I don't mean to call you out on that, but do you find that that's a hard thing for you guys to do?
Yeah, no, I was shaking my head agreeing with a lot of what you were saying because I have to do my program reports and have the time. It's hopefully before the end of the year. But I try to prioritize it. But we do surveys. I have an automatic survey that goes out through Civic Rec I think it's like 3 days after the program's finished. But remembering to go in and, gather the feedback and stuff is difficult. But I think that's where a lot of positivity can come from because some people won't say it to me or email me or call me. So I like the survey aspect to gather information because they're more than likely to type something in a box and submit it than, it's anonymous. So.
I was just going to add a comment because you're kind of talking about data, Allison. I think one of the things, like, it is not really related to this strategy, but when we're gathering information, what I've noticed, and I mean, Tatum, you just kind of touched on it too, like we're gathering all of this information. So we might be getting the surveys, but do we have the dedicated staff or the time to look at it? I think that's the concern. And that's the thing that I feel like we always run up against is we're gathering all this data, but it seems like we're moving so fast that we just look at it too quickly, kind of assume. So I think it's kind of like, how do we kind of shake that up a little bit in how we're getting the survey information back, and how do we get so that it's more, we're responding to the feedback and really making some changes. Because I feel like we're missing the step, that survey step, and that's in my association in KCMO Parks, we don't consistently get surveys. If we do get surveys, we might not be able to look at them, or we might not be able to look at them as in depth to really know what the community is asking for. And then we have a whole sector of the community that we struggle to outreach to. We don't get as much information from some people back, or from some of our participants. So it's hard to get information too sometimes. I could put that on a note.
Yeah. And then how to like be mindful with that feedback you're getting. Like, are we actually plugging that or taking that into consideration when we're planning for future programs? And then also the impact it has. So there's a lot of different factors I see that can take into consideration for that. But yes, I agree with what you girls said on that as well. Staffing has been a big concern.
Robin, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to ask this, and I don't even know what my question is. So that's why I'm having trouble. So maybe I'll just use like an example. I'm just curious what you guys think of this. So, what came up, our state of play Kansas City report came out last week, and there was some interesting data, some interesting kind of anecdotes from people talking about how that there are that they wish that they had opportunities to do kind of like recreational, still competitive, but not as intense as like a travel team or something like that for youth sports, whether it's baseball or football or something like that. And I'm guessing some of that information would be hard, some of that data would be hard to get in a survey because they're probably not already participating in a program. They'd have to voluntarily fill out a survey, and they may not necessarily know that what they're looking for either. So I'm curious, is there ever times when people say like, oh, hey, I read in this report that there is a need for this type of programming, even though no one has really said that they wanted in any of our data. Should we try some of this, or should we partner with, and I was thinking that they talked about the Royals in there. The Royals, because they offer these kind of high school level rec ball leagues, they call something like that. Does that ever happen? Or our Parks and Rec department, it is?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Jen, I'll let you talk. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I think there's a lot of, we kind of focused in on surveys, but Robin, your question kind of brings up, there's a lot of other information that we can base these decisions off of. That's all I really had. So Allison, you can go.
I was gonna say, I know we get a lot of publications from NRPA and KRPA, and Jen, I'm sure you get them from the Missouri Park and Rec Association. But just at the state level, the national standard, like we get those articles in those magazines. We do have content creators like fellow people at our levels across the nation who are submitting this and they're seeing those trends. So it's kind of on us to make sure we're reading those and staying current with what's trending. And then also, but yeah, I know I geek out on data. So I love seeing those reports and like, whoa, like, what do you mean? Like Tai Chi is going to be hopping? Like, okay, like, let's go find an instructor. But yes, some of those programs, we have community partners that might reach out as well too. But yes, we do see those. Oh, I read in a report versus someone physically coming to us. So yes, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Very
We've
cool.
had programs, in KCMO start based on things happening in the city. So, just Mayor's Night programs is one of them. Our Mayor's Night sports programs in the summer got kind of started up because there was a very apparent need that teens needed a place to be. We know that the health department has, or I know that the health department has millions of dollars in funding that's being allocated towards youth violence prevention, and that includes opportunities in parks and recreation as well. So it's not necessarily a survey, it's also just looking around sometimes.
Cool. Very cool. Well, we'll obviously the state of play is out. You guys know where to find that because you guys were involved with it. We're also going to, and I know both of you, I think we're on the advisory board for the physical activity program mapping project. That you haven't heard from us on a while on it, not because we haven't been doing the work, it's because there have been so many programs. I think they were up to like 4,000 programs or something like that, or getting close to 4,000 programs. So I think hopefully we'll have that report by the end of the month. And we'll have the database of all those programs of what sports are being offered and where they're being offered at, what ages they're being offered at. So hopefully like that can help you guys as you say like, oh, look at that. Johnson County has like 5,000 programs in this. Maybe we need to offer them in Jackson County or Clinton County or wherever. So
And I feel like that's one of the really cool parts about Parks and Rec is we like to share our program wheels quite a bit. So like if I were to see Tatum's doing some super awesome tennis thing over there, like I want to do that up here. Like give me your program wheel. How did you do it? And then so that's the cool part about Parks and Rec is we praise each other for those programs and then also want to like share the good with it.
Sorry, I asked a lot of questions. Thanks, though. That's super helpful.
We love it. Katie, do you want me to read the strategy too?
If you want to go ahead.
Sure.
I don't know if we'll make it through.
I think
Hopefully
we're
we can
probably
finish
gonna
strategy
be
too.
able-
Yeah.
I think what we can do is read it and then maybe go through those questions, and anyone who hasn't taken the red cap, answer those 3 questions or those couple questions again and put any comments. But we'll probably end on just that.
Yeah. I want to make sure there's time to kind of go through like group updates and stuff. And there's an opportunity I wanted to discuss with the group for a service learning project. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So Allison, I'll go ahead and let you read strategy 2. I have 2 periods, my bad. Okay.
All good. Communities should improve availability of access to safe, clean, and affordable community recreation, fitness, and park facilities to support physical activity for all residents. And then I won't read through all the tactics. I feel like we can all do that, or do you want me to read through them? Okay,
I
good.
think
No,
we can read
they're
that.
there for reference. Everyone should have access. So if you want to familiarize yourself with them, again, they're just to provide a little more in-depth information as to how they support the overall strategy.
The more I'm reading through this, the more I feel like I did take the red cap survey, but now I don't know. So I'm really
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's okay. Only one person had put their name in it, so that's why I asked that question. I think it was like I think it was a last minute addition I added because I noticed that I couldn't keep track of who filled it out. So,
Maybe I did then. I don't know.
yeah. Well, this is a good refresher for you.
It
But I'll
is.
go ahead, give everyone just a moment to answer these questions. So, how likely is that strategy to be implemented? Can it be done in the next 3 years? And then, will it improve physical activity and health?
So basically, the first strategy was about new things. The second
Mhm.
one is about improving existing things.
Correct.
That's the gist of it.
And maybe as we're answering, we can have a little discussion. I think I see a lot of these tactics being currently worked on in the community. I think that's why I saw Robin put a dot at like almost 100%. That's where I put it too. Because I think we're already trying to improve a lot of these stuff that we're already got going on.
Jen, have you ever seen in 2012, so 12 years ago now, some people independent people audited every single park in KCMO. You ever seen that?
Who was it organized by?
They were at K-State at the time.
Okay.
Andy Kaczynski was his name.
I'm not familiar with that. And I think I should probably just give everyone my background. I've only lived in Kansas City, Missouri for 5 years. So things in the past that are common knowledge are not usually common knowledge for me. And that hasn't come up, the individual survey of parks. When I first started, there was an organization that wanted to, and we have an internal audit program where people could get on an app and go to a park. It's almost like a mix of like 311 and our internal audit program, where an individual could go to a park, use the app to do a very simple survey of the amenities of that park, the conditions of the park, the conditions of the equipment, and then that data would come back to us and we'd have kind of that information coming back. But it wasn't organized to hit every single park. But we, through our master plan, our department-wide master plan, we had a group come in and they did survey every single KCMO park in the past, or in that very recently. So in the past 2 years, every single KCMO park has gotten an external third-party evaluation to inform our master plan. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
no, on the K-State, I'm not aware of that, but I am aware that we had a third party come in. So that plan is also available out there, and we are putting that plan into place now.
Cool. Yeah, like I was gonna say, I mean, are you using that then to say like, oh, that's where we need to prioritize?
Absolutely. We're in our budget period right now, and we have many master plans out there. So currently I'm referencing the department master plan. We're on a rough draft of the community center master plan. So that evaluates the physical facilities. It also does a program evaluation. Does the programming make sense for the neighborhood? Does it make sense for the community centers? Do we have the right amount of programs in the right amount of areas? So that is a really exciting one. I'm excited to see how that turns out to inform how we program at each of our community centers and the surrounding neighborhoods. And then we also have a very huge focus on aquatics. So that is another master plan that we have taken a lot of action on. And the mayor of Kansas City, when we passed the GEO bond in November of 2022, $80 million came to the Parks and Recreation Department in KCMO, and every council district gets 10 million, and then there's a $20 million department-wide allocation, and the mayor designated that 20 million to aquatics, and we've already used that funding to improve the pools. Southeast Community Center pool is a good one. It was not functioning, and we were able to invest $3 million into it, and now it's brand new and open, and it's really busy, and people are loving it. So that's a lot. I'm sorry, went on that tangent, but that was just like to try to answer that question of like, I think a lot of this work is already being done on strategy 2.
Yeah. That's awesome. Did you say that that audit data is available publicly or just internal?
It's internal, but it will be in an overview and a summary will be in the published master plan.
Cool.
And I'm not sure if they published it yet. It was going through some approvals, and it was approved by our board. But yeah, that's something that you could find in there.
Cool.
All right.
Your master plan is 571 pages.
Oh my gosh. Well, let me know when you've read it.
I can't even
I
keep up
looked
on my
through it.
emails that I got
participated
today.
in it. What's that?
I can't even read the emails I got today.
I know. There's only 20 of them.
Uh,
Okay, so I was just gonna try to push the meeting forward a little bit because we've only got 5 minutes. And so I think wherever we're paused or wherever you've answered your questions or given your feedback and put your sticky notes in, just pause there. And then we're gonna move into other updates that we have for our sector meeting today. So we want everyone to save the date for the September Healthy Lifestyles quarterly meeting. It's coming up tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm unfortunately not able to come to that meeting. I really love that meeting and I love the networking of it, but I just have too many things going on. So that is a meeting that's going to be happening tomorrow. The topic is Communities Leading Change. And Communities Leading Change is a Center for Disease Control and Prevention funded program to reduce racial and ethnic health disparities or gaps. There is a link to register.
I'm going to say you can come in person, but there might be limited seating. So if because this is the last minute, if you would like to attend, there's also a virtual option. So
Great. Thanks, Katie.
and I will go ahead and take over because I know
Thank you.
the next
I'm not sure
topic
what
is a little
that
more.
is.
Yeah, so it was brought to my attention from our healthcare sector lead that there's an opportunity and he wanted to see if there was a possibility of partnering with Parks to go into that a little more. The American Medical Society for Sports Medicine. So every year they host their annual meeting. This next year it'll be in KCMO. So with each meeting, they try and look for service learning opportunities that kind of involve sports. And Jay thought it'd be a good idea if we kind of partnered with maybe some parks and looked for opportunities maybe to like help improve trails, like clean up a trail, or maybe one of the like sporting facilities. And I just didn't know if anybody had any ideas or knew of opportunities around that.
What time frame are they wanting to do this? Like this month, next month, or like next year?
It'll be next year during their
Okay.
annual meeting. Yeah, so it won't be
When
until
is it? Yeah, when is that? Do you remember? I can't remember the date, but I was thinking like February or something.
Oh, it says
Or
20.
spring-ish.
it is April.
April.
Yeah. Yeah, I have it
So-
pulled up, their website.
April is the month that Earth Day is in. It's like, Earth Month, I think. It's a great opportunity to clean in a park. We have a lot of opportunities with our ambassador program. I can send you the contact information for that. That could be something that could be a great team building activity. They do a lot, like it's not just litter cleanup. They'll go and do not typically trail maintenance or sporting field maintenance, but one of the things that our volunteers really like is when we are able to bring them out and show them how to manage natives. And that's typically a nice little option. And then we also have like the Walktober events coming up. That's something that might not be completely a service minded, but for one of the October events, our conservation manager is doing a tour through Jerry Smith Park, and he's going to walk everybody through and kind of point out all of the natives. That's on October 6th. But something like that, I think, would be cool for that team to experience. But I can give you the information for our ambassador contact.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up.
That group could also come out to Corporate Challenge kickoff and help lead activities in the kids zone.
It is in April, isn't it?
It is in April.
We need to start talking.
We do need to start talking. We have time. It's fine. We're not reinventing anything. We just got to update. But yes.
Yeah.
So that would be cool to have that group come out and engage with the community and like meet all the partners. Because we invite partners, not just that Johnson County uses, but all the partners that Corporate Challenge uses as well. So it's across the KC Metro. So that would be kind of cool. I don't know if you're up for that. And if they really want to do the volunteer cleanup, they can help pick up trash at the end. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be just like trash pickup or anything. Those were just some examples. I think,
yeah, we have other events that are available too. So
it'd be cool if they came to kickoff because Jen's group comes to party at kickoff too.
and
then I'll be there.
We can really have a celebration.
yeah.
It's a big deal, and they could learn a lot from us.
Exactly.
Or vice versa, we could learn from them. I don't know. Learnings and
Well, yeah, Jen, if you want to send me that contact, and Allison, I've got a note, so I'll bring it up to Jay. We have a meeting next week, so
cool.
I'll kind of discuss with him some of the ideas that were brought up.
Nice.
Thanks, Jen. Okay. Well, I don't have anything else. I know it's already 1 o'clock. Does anybody want to share an update related? Yeah, Alice, in your hand.
I have a huge update. So, JC Purdy is getting our first ever kids triathlon team. And they're going to, they might be applying for funding through the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan, through the Park and Rec sector, if we still have funds left, to see if they can pay for some of the equipment and or things to help get it going. But it just went live like last week. And because our kids triathlon is one of the few in the area, but we sell out every year, like we max out and we get a wait list. And so we want to be able to better serve those kids in our community. So that's happening. So if you've got any youth triathletes, I put the link in the chat. And then also we have a free marketing opportunity if anybody wants to come out and get spooky. We have our Jamboree. It's an indoor event at New Century Fieldhouse. We're going to be on the soccer fields, and it's like a trunk or treat, but it's inside. So kids don't have to hide their Halloween costume under their winter coat. And then we're going to show a free movie on the basketball courts on the other side. But we typically have around anywhere from like 60 to 70 vendors there. So it's great for families with littles, so they don't have to like go house to house. They can just one-stop shop, get all the candy, watch a movie, go home, done. And I put a link for that in the box as well. And I'll stop while I'm ahead. I'm done. That's all I got.
Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share before we hop off? Okay. Well, Allison, I guess I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Jen, sorry, I'll miss your face. And hopefully maybe Tatum Waymond, if you can join us as well, either virtually or in person. It'll be a good time at the quarterly meeting, but see you all next month. And just as a reminder, that next meeting is Wednesday, October 23rd you should have a calendar invite, but I will double check just in case.
Thank you guys. Great job,
See ya.
Katie.
Thanks.
Thanks, bye.
Oh, bye.
Bye, guys.